When it comes to payday, most people do one of two things. They either spend it before they have even had a chance to think about it, or they move a little bit to savings, feel vaguely responsible, and then watch the rest disappear before the month is out. Either way, the result is the same. You get to the end of the month with less than you planned, more stress than you wanted, and a nagging feeling that you should be further ahead than you are. I am a qualified accountant and I spent nearly a decade in investment banking. And in this video, I want to walk you through the 8 things you should do every single time you get paid. This is the exact routine I follow, and it is the reason I feel completely in control of my money every single month, regardless of what the month throws at me. Let's start with step one. Step one is to know your reference point. This is the foundation that everything else is built on. And before you can do anything meaningful with your money, you need to face it directly. There is something in behavioral psychology called the ostrich effect, a cognitive bias that causes people to avoid information that makes them feel uncomfortable. They would rather act as if that information does not exist. This is probably why you would rather not check your bank account after a big weekend, or why you avoid looking at how much debt you are actually carrying. But burying your head in the sand when it comes to your finances is one of the main reasons that nearly two-thirds of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. The solution is simpler than most people make it out to be. Calculate exactly what you spend on housing, groceries, transportation, insurance, and any other costs that make up your essential living expenses every month. Then figure out what percentage of your total net income that number represents. Your net income is the amount that actually lands in your bank account after tax. Not your salary, not your gross, but the real number you have to work with. This figure, your essential expenses as a percentage of your net income, is your reference point. Write it down, know it. The guideline is to keep it below 60% of your net income. If it is above that, go through each line and ask whether there is a cheaper alternative or something you can reduce. Knowing this number is what allows you to move confidently to everything that comes next. Step two is to build your quick solution fund. Being good with money involves two things. The first is understanding the basic maths. The second, and this is the one that almost every personal finance resource undervalues, is the psychological side. Because sometimes, even when the numbers point clearly in one direction, the best decision is actually the one that makes you feel most secure. And this step is entirely about that. Imagine knowing that if your car breaks down tomorrow, if your boiler fails, if you need urgent medical care, it is all covered. You do not have to go into debt. You do not have to panic. You do not have to make a desperate financial decision under pressure. That peace of mind is genuinely hard to put a number on. The goal for this step is to save one full month of your essential living expenses, that same number you calculated in step one, and keep it somewhere accessible and ideally earning decent interest. Once you hit 1 month of expenses, you can pause here for now. You do not need a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund at this stage. That comes later. Right now, 1 month is enough of a cushion to move forward with confidence. Step three is to cancel out your high interest debt. Here is something that took me longer than it should have to fully internalize. What is better than buying something now and not having to pay for it for months? Not overpaying for it in the first place. The average American is carrying over $5,700 in credit card debt. And if you are not paying that off every month, you are overpaying for everything you bought on that card. A $1,000 purchase on a credit card with a 22% interest rate does not cost you $1,000. After a year, it has cost you $1,220. That extra $220 is money you earned, money you worked for, and it went straight to a bank for the privilege of not paying attention. Here's the principle that cuts through all the noise around this. If you have high interest debt and a savings account sitting alongside it, those two things are working against each other. Your savings might be earning 4 or 5% interest. Your credit card debt is probably costing you 20% or more. The maths is clear. Use your savings to eliminate the high interest debt first. You come out ahead every single time. To do this properly, list out all your debts with an interest rate above 7 or 8%. Then decide which payoff method suits you. The snowball method means paying off your smallest debt first. then rolling that payment onto the next smallest once it is cleared. The psychological win of eliminating a debt completely keeps you motivated to continue. The avalanche method means tackling the highest interest rate debt first, then moving to the next highest. This is the mathematically optimal route. It costs you less in total interest over time. Neither is wrong. The best method is the one you will actually stick to. Pick one, commit to it, and use your surplus savings to accelerate it. Step 4 is to maximize your employer retirement match. This comes slightly lower on the list than you might expect from most personal finance channels, and there is a deliberate reason for that. This step involves sacrificing some of your current take-home pay in exchange for a future benefit. And in my view, there is no point planning aggressively for your financial future if your present finances are not yet stable. That is why steps 1 through 3 come first. But once those foundations are in place, this step is non-negotiable. If your employer offers a 401k match, you need to be contributing at least enough to get the full match. Here's why. If your employer matches 5% of your salary and you are contributing less than 5%, you are leaving free money on the table. Literally free money that your employer is willing to add on top of your own contribution, and you are declining it. There is no investment in the world that gives you an immediate 50% or 100% return the moment you make it. The employer match does exactly that. On top of that, your 401k contributions reduce your taxable income this year. And unlike a lot of things in finance, you cannot go back and claim last year's allowance. If you do not use it this year, it is gone. Step 5 is to build your full emergency fund. Now that your employer match is in place, you want to expand that quick solution fund from step 2 into a proper 3 to 6 month emergency fund. 3 months of essential living expenses if you are in a stable employment situation, 6 months or more if you are in a higher risk industry, if you work in a field with frequent layoffs, or if you are self-employed with variable income. This fund is not an investment. It is not there to grow. It is there to protect everything else you are building. Think of it as the foundation that stops a bad month from becoming a financial crisis. Step 6 is to invest in your own return. I know this is not the order you see on most personal finance channels. Most people jump straight to index funds after the emergency fund. But my view is that the fastest way to accelerate everything else on this list is to increase your income first. And the most reliable way to increase your income, whether through a pay rise, a promotion, or a profitable side hustle, is to invest in yourself, your skills, your knowledge, the additional value you can bring to your work or to the market. The return on that investment almost always outpaces what you would have earned by putting the same money into the stock market right now. And the extra income it generates can then be funneled into every subsequent step at a higher rate. If you can afford to do both, invest in yourself and invest in the market simultaneously, do both. Starting early in the market matters enormously because of compounding. But if you have to prioritize, skill and income growth first. Step 7 is to make full use of your tax-advantaged investment accounts. In the US, this means your Roth IRA and your 401k beyond the employer match. A Roth IRA lets you invest money you have already paid tax on and then withdraw everything, including all the growth, completely tax-free in retirement. The contribution limit changes slightly year to year, so look up the current figure and aim to max it out before putting money into a standard taxable brokerage account. The reason the tax wrapper matters so much is compounding. Over 20 or 30 years, the difference between paying tax on your gains every year versus paying no tax on them at all is enormous. We are talking potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars difference on the same underlying investments. Inside your tax-advantaged accounts, start with globally diversified index funds. Low cost, broad market, set up as an automatic monthly contribution and leave it alone. That is the strategy. Simple, boring, and extraordinarily effective over time. Step 8 is to think about opportunity cost. Once you have worked through every step above, any additional money you have left to deploy is where you get to make a personal call. And that decision comes down to your priorities, your risk appetite, and the vision you have for your life. Some people at this stage choose to pay down their mortgage faster to reach a point of genuine financial freedom where their fixed costs are essentially zero, and they could work less, travel more, or take a risk on something new without the pressure of a housing payment hanging over them. Others prefer to keep the mortgage and direct that surplus into additional investments, taxable brokerage accounts, real estate, or other assets. Others use it to fund a business idea they have been sitting on for years. There is no universally right answer here. What matters is that you are making a conscious, deliberate decision about where that money goes rather than letting it quietly disappear into spending without intention. That is the full routine. 8 steps, done in this order, every single payday. Know your reference point. Build your quick solution fund. Cancel out high interest debt. Maximize your employer match. Build your full emergency fund. Invest in your own return. Use your tax advantaged accounts fully. Then decide deliberately what to do with the rest. The magic of this system is not any individual step, it is the order. Because the order is what makes each step build on the one before it, and what stops you from optimizing the wrong things at the wrong time. If you found this useful, subscribe. I cover money management, investing, and building real financial security every single week. I will see you in the next one.